What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Finally back in the studio. My goodness, did I definitely miss being able to do these updates every single day. Very mixed day in the markets. Now, we did have Bitcoin futures expiry, and I was discussing the potential chance of Bitcoin falling. As you can see right here, we still are down another 2% today, and I know a lot of people are freaking out and worrying, maybe this is your first dip. What's happening? Well, we'll talk about it, whether or not the dump is actually over. Actually, you notice today, Cardano doing quite well. Lots of big news about that. But, sticking to the Bitcoin topic today, having a look, you'll notice that we are sort of hanging around this region between 44 and 47,000. We can't seem to break out of it. So is it actually consolidation, or should we be worried? Well, I have gone over a lot of the bearish scenario in the last two videos. In today's video, we will revisit some of those critical levels, but I do want to talk about some massive bullish fundamentals for Bitcoin that not a lot of people are talking about right now, why I believe that the bull run is nowhere near over. In fact, I'm going to show you something that hasn't happened to Bitcoin in 2 months, and it just happened again, and it is an extremely bullish signal. So we're going to talk about that. I also want to discuss the fact that Ethereum is actually at a very critical level right now. So we're going to talk about it because it's almost getting to that do or die moment for Ethereum. We really need to see that breakout. Could it happen Monday? That's what we're going to talk about today. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, consider it. And let's get straight to the meat and potatoes of this video. So you can see right here, interestingly enough, the Bitcoin CME futures actually literally closed their markets exactly at this critical level that I spoke about. And the reason that this level was so significant was because it represented this huge green candle on February 8th, and that was where we had that resistance, and you could see it acted as support. It acted as support, and it looks like it's acting as support again. You can see, however, though, we have been putting in lower highs, okay, over the past few days, and this could be looking to form a bit of a descending triangle. Now, descending triangles usually do break to the downside. Now, this is why we were a little bit concerned about having that $40,000 Bitcoin price target. However, as we have seen in a bull market, a lot of these bearish formations tend to break to the upside anyway, so it could just be healthy consolidation. Interestingly enough, we're consolidating right now in this whale zone, and I've had this box marked out for you now so you could see where there's been lots of whale accumulation. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, definitely check out Whale Map over on Twitter. They actually help to sort of show these whale bubbles, which is where there's massive whale accumulation. You can see we had a lot of accumulation at 14,000, 19,000, 34,000. We all know who that was. That was Tesla, right? 39,000. And look, we've also had 46 and 56. And 46 was the level that we were looking at. And right here is exactly where we're accumulating. So there is that potential that we don't have the 30% crash, that we do have the rebound from here. Now, the only reason that I was a little bit skeptical was because we know that historically, Bitcoin has a tendency to kick you when you're down. And if you've been around in the space, you know what I mean, right? We have that crazy drop. You think it's over, and then we drop just once more to shake out all the weak hands before having that massive blast off. Now, if you didn't check out my previous video, I told you guys that I did have a potential target down here of about 40,000 to 42,000, somewhere in that range, where I would be looking for a massive, massive bounce. Go check out my previous video if you don't know what I'm talking about. So the thing short term that does look a little bearish is the fact that we have flipped this support where we were having support. Now it's acting as resistance. You see see right here, we're bouncing on top of it, and now we're actually hitting below it. We can't seem to get back up above it. So when you have supports flipping resistance, that's not really what you want to look for in a bullish continuation. The other thing that I don't like is the fact that we've now fallen below the 21 exponential, and that is actually acting as our resistance. Now, I just want to point out, this does not mean that the trend is lost, that we're going to be going down, and that's it for Bitcoin. In fact, you can see right here, between January 21st and January 29th, we actually danced under this for about a week. Oops, wrong tool. Sorry, guys. You can see right here, oh my goodness, what did I do? This chart is crazy. I don't know what's going on with this chart. Let me just get rid of everything right now. Actually, let me just delete everything. What is going on? So you can see right here, look at this. So you see how we danced under this for about a week? Then we finally did break to the upside. So we could be looking for another bit of accumulation. Where did we actually touch though? That was the bottom. Well, it was the 50-day moving average, which is this yellow line. And you can see we flatlined literally at around $41,000, which is the halfway point between 40,000 and 42,000. So it would not be out of the cards to see us come down here, assume this does something like this, retest it, and then have that bounce. We could be following a very similar pattern like we've seen here. Keep in mind, these markets, they move in waves, right? They move in peaks and troughs. You have the tops and the bottoms, but as long as you're putting in higher highs and higher lows, nothing wrong with the structure of this. Overall, still incredibly bullish. And if you want to see why I still remain bullish on the macro, this is hands down the most bullish thing that I have actually seen. And that is the fact that if we take this previous peak all the way at the wick at the top back in June, and we connect it to the peak that we had before the 30% pullback from 42, and we see the top, right? So look at this right here. We have the top, right? The wick. We have the second top right here. And then look at this, guys. We have this resistance flipping support. So just like I said, it's not good to have the previous support flip resistance. This on the macro is doing the opposite. We're seeing the resistance flip to the support. This is very bullish, right? So this is why I remain super bullish macro. We could have that quick retest, a wick down to that 40K level, but I would expect a massive mega bounce. So just be careful out there, guys. Obviously, trading with high leverage right now is not a good idea, in my personal opinion, because we could still have that shakeout. If you guys have no idea how to do that, you can check out my Bybit tutorial. That is my preferred place for trading Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you haven't checked it out, tutorial popping up above. But moving on, have a look at this right here. So Ki Young Ju, he says, and this was actually from yesterday, but he says, another significant Coinbase outflow at 48,000. U.S. institutional investors are still buying. So they were buying at 48,000, and we've actually pulled back a little bit today. He says, I think the major reason for this drop is the jittering macro environment, like the 10-year treasury note, not whale deposits, miner selling, and lack of institutional demand. And actually, he made a follow-up to this today, and the Coinbase premium just turned positive. So he says they're coming. And you need to pay attention to these on-chain data, fundamentals, right? Price action is great, but you also have to look at what is happening in the background. Interestingly enough, Raphael over here, my buddy, he pointed out, if you have a look at the Bitcoin spent output profit ratio, you could see that once it falls below this level right here, it's actually a good indicator that Bitcoin is nearing a bottom, and we're actually looking for that reversal. And you could see we actually just hit it again as of February 26th. So he actually says, so long? I guess. Well, not financial advice, guys. Obviously, like I said, I'm still waiting for that confirmation. I want to see that daily candle close above major resistance flip support, and there is still that possibility of a quick flash down to 40. It may not happen, but it would be irresponsible to ignore it, right? Because it is a possibility. It is out there. Now, having a look at what Bybit has shown, you can see that grayscale, okay? Meanwhile, everyone's freaking out, worried about all these whales selling, which we have seen whales selling. I'm not going to pretend like we didn't, okay? Whale addresses are down, especially over the past week, but you can see that Grayscale has actually still been adding Bitcoin. So even though their premium has dropped, there still is a major demand. You can see that they had 648,470, and then that was as of February 1st, and then it grew to 655,000. Same thing happened for Ethereum. In the beginning of the month, we had about 2.93 million ETH, and now we have around 3.17 million ETH. So they're still accumulating, they're still adding. It's not like demand has changed, but we have seen some profit takers, right? For example, we saw multiple massive quantities of whale movements, 8,000 Bitcoin on February 24th. That was sent from unknown wallets to Coinbase. And Glassnode data also has pointed out that while we did have a meteoric rise of about 14% in whale wallets from March of last year to February of this year, we have actually seen the humpback whale, or whatever you want to call them, basically big whales, from 1,000 to 10,000 has actually decreased by about 140,000 Bitcoin, or roughly 6.5 trillion, which is I think I'm supposed to say billion, not trillion, which is still pretty incredible. That's still a lot right there. But here's the thing. And here's something that is extremely bullish. Now, I know you guys have been following my buddy George over at Crypto Us. He's been following the F2 pool controversy of them dumping, right, the Bitcoin miners. And I mean, this is... a 5-year-old can see this chart. I mean, you can see that there was a lot of red happening essentially leading into, January into February. And according to Lex, he pointed out, interestingly enough, that the miners have actually stopped selling Bitcoin finally. Yesterday was the first day since December of last year, December 27th, when miner positions have actually turned positive. Miners were selling their Bitcoins for 2 months, and literally they just stopped. So this is something to note, okay? They finally have started to accumulate again. And, we talked about these conspiracies about how they can do it. You basically, you sell a bunch on spot, you put in a short position, then as you crash the market, you have a short, you're making money on the way down. And what happens? You actually end up with more Bitcoin than what you started. It's some pretty shady stuff that goes on out there. But at the end of the day, the fact of the matter is they're not selling for cash. They're looking to accumulate more Bitcoin. And that is the fundamental difference between 2017 and now. And if you want to hear what ARK's Cathie Wood said, not on Tesla, I'm going to show you what happened after this. They were asking her over on CNBC her opinions on, different tech stocks, and she talks about AI and other stuff, but there was a section on Bitcoin, and I want to play this clip so you could see exactly why this, environment of, this recent short-term sell-off is not affecting people like ARK's Cathie Wood. And yeah, let me just play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, and Bitcoin is on everybody's mind right now. Your next-gen internet fund has a very large position in the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Your thoughts on this? Your thoughts on Bitcoin, a Bitcoin ETF for 2021? Is it coming? And do you have any concerns that the Grayscale closed-end fund still trading at a pretty significant premium?
Well, the premiums come down quite a bit. I think now that we know that the next SEC commissioner is going to be David Gensler, who spent the last few years at MIT teaching a class about blockchain technology, Bitcoin. I think he understands the technology and he understands the currency itself. So I think the probability of an ETF has gone up. We also know that the director of research for crypto in the crypto space at the SEC has been promoted and will be reporting directly to Gensler. So again, I think we have individuals now involved who really understand the space. And I think the likelihood has gone up. What has surprised us, we expected institutional interest to pick up this year, and it certainly has. But the way in which it's picked up has surprised us. I don't think we ever thought there would be broad-based substitution of Bitcoin for cash on corporate balance sheets. So we find that very interesting. If all corporations in the United States were to put, I think it's, 10% of their cash into Bitcoin, that alone would add $200,000 to the Bitcoin price. Now, we obviously do not believe this is going to happen very quickly. We're talking about maybe the equivalent of $900 billion market cap equivalent for Bitcoin. That's less than half the price of, the Apples and Amazons of the world. So, this has to mature a little bit before broad-based adoption can take place. But we're very reassured that companies like Square and Tesla have chosen to allocate. They're on the right side of change when it comes to innovation. And therefore, we think it's wise that they diversify some of their cash. And I think the biggest surprise to many Tesla doubters is that it is now in a position where it has that much cash that it is diversifying.
So she goes on to say that she was very bullish, but she was actually surprised that we've had the type of interest that we've had, especially with Bitcoins on balance sheets, right? That is mind-blowing. The mayor of Miami, looking to allow Bitcoin, with the treasury funds and allow people to get paid in Bitcoin, right? That's crazy. And oh yeah, not to mention, guys, this just happened officially. We had the House passing Biden's 1.9 trillion relief package for the virus, which shall not be named. And you all know what this means. We saw what happened the last time. What do you think is going to happen with these funds? Well, having a look right here, like Documenting Bitcoin pointed out, stimulus 1.9 trillion, Bitcoin 0.85 trillion, endless fiat printing, limited Bitcoin. Where do you think some of these funds are inevitably going to flow? And that being said, guys, I wanted to bring you a little bit more of a bullish video today. It's been 2 days of very bearish videos, actually 4 days of very bearish videos. So I just wanted to show you guys that, these dips happen, 30% corrections are possible. We still haven't hit the target yet. This could be the bottom. This could be the whale accumulation we were looking for at the whale bubbles. But like I said, don't be shocked if we did have another quick wick. But ultimately, the trend is your friend. The trend is looking great, super healthy, no reason to fret. If you're not a trader, dollar cost averaging is your best strategy. The hodlers are the true winners at the end of the day. And that is it for me. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. Until next time, my name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. And of course, peace out.